Hey everybody, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, one half of the DungeonSwag team, and we are now going to paint the last miniature from the May loot box, and it's this gentleman here, and he's got an eye patch and he's looking pretty sick. So I think what I want to do is I want to start with his base. And then maybe do his clothing parts. So main focus here is to get out to the end of the dirt, which is just baking soda. And if we get a little bit on his metal, that's okay, because we're going to come back over that with metallic, and that'll cover up the brown real well. So this is the last one. There were 6 in this month's in the May box. I realize we're now into June. Bear with me. I do have the June box, and I'm going to do an unboxing on that. I haven't looked in it yet. I did help pick the minis, but my memory is not great. I know what the theme was, but I can't remember exactly what miniatures we picked. When we go through and pick miniatures, we really, I'm the D&D guy and he's a tabletop gamer, like war gamer. So when we go through the minis, we really try to pick the best ones we can put out to make a box of stuff we want on our tables. And that's this guy here was, he was one of my top picks. Granted, I didn't know what weapon I was going to put on him, but I knew that I liked the mini a lot. Okay, using a dab of gray for that rock. Alright, so I want to get his cloth going here pretty early on. So we need a good undercolor for that cloth. Now, I had success using the same blue that I used to do the armor, and I thought it looked really good. But I don't want all these guys to look the same. So I think I'm going to use this dark wood here to do his undergarments. This guy's a little more like hardcore barbarian than the other ones. He's a little less knightly looking. I used way too much of that paint. That's going to come back and bite me in the butt. I think that color is a little subdued. It won't stick out and be obnoxious. There's so much paint on there, I'm not getting much pulling. I think out of the May box, this was probably my top pick of what I wanted to paint. Alright, and we're going to do his sleeve here. Get up under there. I think that is all the cloth. So we want to let that dry before we even think about starting on the metal. This guy has less textures than some of the other minis, so I'm going to try to, let me switch brushes. I'm going to try to do some, oh no, I'll use that same brush, never mind, I'm a crackhead. Alright, so I'm going to get this Crusader Skin Flesh tone. Try not to use that much paint. You didn't need nearly that much. Use that same brush. All right. Now he's got like a strap on his the flesh of his arm, and I usually kind of ignore straps and stuff, but because it's on exposed flesh, it's not going to blend into a darker tone and hide it. So we're going to actually have to come back with a small brush and hit that pretty good. And some of the spots on the other models where I went a little dark on the flesh and was worried, when I came back and with regular paint at the end and hit those spots, it actually ended up being okay. So I'm not being as careful as I was before with the flesh tone. Right, let's zoom in and check him out. He's starting to come together. He's looking a little rad. Let's hit this, let's hit his hands and stuff a little bit more. Get it a little darker down the cracks of his muscles. Make sure we capture his ears good. Alright, so we missed one of the rocks. I'll come back and grab that real quick. It looks like I missed this spot right here, but that's actually just the light reflecting off it. We're going to do his loincloth now, and that's going to be red. And that's the thing that has tied all these units together, is that blue tint to the armor and the red on the loincloths. Now on his loincloth, there's like a metal crotch guard there. So I'm going to not paint that red. I'm going to leave that and make that silver. And I'm going to come in behind his butt here. Alright, that's going to look nice. can't really see it with the lighting, but I can see it, like, because I have like I have an under cabinet light for my workbench, and then I have a spotlight, so I can really see what I'm doing. I don't know how well you can tell. All right, so we're going to come back and start working on some of that metal now, I think. So we've used more so the lighter metals, like the brighter metals. So we're going to do a medium one. We did a dark one. I can't remember if we did a medium one. We might have done a medium one. We're going to do another one. So we want this to be kind of thin. So I'm just dipping my brush in water and getting a little bit of water. Zoom out real quick, get a look at this. Okay. So on that part, and on the crotch guard, I'd like to use that thinner. Okay, so what I did here is I accidentally touched that red because it wasn't dry enough. So now I have some red on my model here where I don't want it. So I'm just trying to paint that off. See if we can't recover. No, we can't recover. Alright, so we're going to have to let that dry and then come back and work on that. So for the rest of this, I'm not trying to use the watered down. I'm going to do it just like I did the other ones. So I was supposed to go out of town, and then last night I got called out to one of the sites I run. There was an emergency. I didn't get home till about 5:30 this morning, so I did not end up going out of town because I was too tired to safely drive. So tomorrow I'm going to get up super duper early and drive out to somewhere in Ohio and babysit some contractors. So that should be an easy day. At least I won't be physically, doing a bunch. I don't do a lot of physical stuff, honestly, but there are days where I do. All right, we're starting to get Starting to get silver looking. For like older people, like Gen Xers like me and the millennials that did play role-playing games. Sorry, not millennials, boomers. And then I guess some of you, a lot of you millennials play. You're the largest group probably playing. But if you're old enough to remember, before YouTube, we used to get magazines and little crafting guides from like Games Workshop and other places, and you had trouble learning to paint because you didn't have all this access. Like, if you want to learn to paint now, you can literally go on YouTube and watch entire videos of how to paint any model pretty much from start to finish and get a result you like. And even if you can't find the exact model, you can find something close. So if you need like a better painter to teach you how to paint these, because again, I am not like a pro painter, I'm just, you know what I mean, a miniature enthusiast. I notice a lot of people watch my shorts about like house rules I do. If you guys have house rules that you use in your games, I would like to hear about it. If you had weird or special encounters, like you or your party came up with an idea or made something special or spectacular happen with an encounter, I like to hear that kind of stuff, because as a DM, one of the biggest things we do is we take what we hear from other stories and other things, and we try to find ways to implement that into our worlds to try to capture that same feeling that those players got to feel when they went through it. All right, I'm going to water that down a little bit again for this sword. I have some ideas of how I want this sword to look. Alright, now we got to come back and fix that silver on the crotch guard. Alright, we got all our silver caught up here, except for the hilt of the sword we need to do. And we need to paint black around the base. Let's go do the black around the base right now. And that black around the base, again, is a me thing. You don't have to do that. It's just something I do for my fantasy minis. And for my sci-fi minis, I do dark gray. And for my terrain, I try to do brown. Unless I'm doing like a weird alien planet terrain or something, then I, you know, obviously. I try not to do any like stuff that doesn't fit my themes. So that I don't have stuff that's only usable once. But I do tend to give away the stuff that's only usable once, just because we have so much space. I mean, I do have a whole committed D&D room, and I have this entire extended garage just for crafting, and it has a couple lawnmowers and stuff in it too, but it's mostly just my stuff I've collected to build stuff out of over the years, and my tools and stuff. And I do have a 3D printer room. Okay, so I guess I don't really have an excuse as to why I don't keep everything I make, but I think it's because if I don't think I'm going to use it again and somebody else can use it, I'd rather give it away. We mentioned, outside of the thing my wife and I were talking, we mentioned possibly if we start getting a regular viewership on the crafting videos, that we should think about mailing stuff to some of the viewers. And I'm not opposed to that. Maybe we could do like I don't know, like a giveaway of some sort. Probably do that through the Discord. That's the easiest way to do stuff, is through Discord. Discord is such a good tool. If we had had Discord when I was young, it would have changed the world so drastically, because we had a generation of people that wanted to talk about things and say things, but no way to really get it out there besides, you know, blogs, and Yahoo comments and Yahoo billiards. So we need to come back, and we need to do that strap on his arm next. We're going to swap out this for a new one. I'm getting that little starter brush. It's actually pretty small. We're going to get this oak brown. Just a poop. A little plop. Bring it in here. And remember, when you're doing stuff like this strap, just calm down and remember that you're not really painting at this point, you're just drawing. You're just drawing lines on that. Oh, come on, focus up, you. What's going on with my camera? There we go. Just catching that. And then since we're here and we have some time to kill, let's hit the strap across the back of his arm. Strap on his bracer. And we'll do these little straps on the back of his boots. Now, we didn't do that on the other ones, and that's okay. All right. Now we're going to need to lighten up his flesh and make it look a little more realistic, because that's not going to work at all. I shouldn't say realistic. Make it look better for a miniature. Like, the colors that are in flesh, like if you go on your computer and you use like a Paint Plus or any other kind of like art program, and you open up a skin tone with like the dropper thing that where you can pick up a tone and look at it, you'll see that there is really no pink tone to our skin. Like, not at all. There's some like more of a white to our skin than a pink. Honestly, I need a little more dab of this because that was a bubble and it pops. There we go. If you can see that, I'm just trying to find a color. I just hit the camera with the back of my paintbrush. Well, that hand's definitely wearing a gauntlet or something. I feel like we're already committed to the skin tone, so we're going to stick with it. Now this is my mini. If you're doing this, painting this same mini right now, you can do it your way. Alright, we're going to do the same thing now. We're just going to lighten it up one more tone a little bit there. We're going to really wipe this off. And this is more of a dry brush than it was before. We're going to pick up that top part of his head there. Just lighten that up a little bit. I'm going to do on his shoulder up here. Lighten that up a little bit. A little bit more. A little bit more. Right there on the outside of his arm. Lighten that up. Top of his hand. The outside of his super gauntlet hand. Alright, now we're going to have to do his eye. His eye patch. We'll do his eye first. So we're going to get a fractional brush. This is a 5/0. Then I'm just gonna, because I'm gross, I'm just gonna lick that little bit dab of that off-white off the brush, and then use that same brush to do my eye patch here. So I tried to zoom it in to show you doing the eye patch, but it was about impossible to catch it. Okay. So we got his eye patch, his eye. I could put a little dot of color in that eye, but I'm not going to. I am, however, going to get some of that brown. And give him just a little bit of an eyebrow. Freehand. Nothing too spectacular. Alright, so now I have to do that silver that I had on the crotch guard. It'll bleed through some because of that being that red contrast paint or speed paint. So we got to come back and touch that up again. Make sure there's no bleed through. And then let's go around and clean up any parts of metal we missed, or any parts that we covered with something else accidentally. Which looks like we didn't. Oh, there we go. A little bit of flesh tone on that wrist guard. Alright, we need to do our sword hilt too. Let's do that now. What color do we want to do that sword hilt in? What a boot. Just black. Let's do black. This is Grim Black. It's just a Army Painter speed paint, like the rest of this stuff is all almost exclusively Army Painter stuff. I don't have any, like I said before, if you've watched, I don't have any affiliation with Army Painter. They don't give me anything. They don't pay me anything. I just, after trying different products over the years, and as my price range of what I could afford changed, I found that I like their stuff. So I continue to use it. Okay. He's looking pretty good. Let's do that blade into that sword. Oh, no, we can't. We just did the hilt and it'll bleed over. All right, so let's start working on armor. So let's get a new tape. You're probably thinking I waste a lot of paint. When I do this, and I don't have people watching, it is not uncommon for me to have rows of this tape going down until I'm done with a mini. It gets to be a lot when I'm trying to remember to bring the mini in front of the screen while I'm working. And when I'm trying not to have a giant amount of clutter going on where I'm working. If you look around, you can see I have, like, I was making a Millennium Falcon. I had, like, stuff that I was using on that. I have stuff around because I'm not good at, I clean up, but I'm not good at managing my workspace. Starting with the blue. This is actually called Runic Gray. So it's, I guess, not blue, but it looks blue to me. We want to come back and hit that crotch guard last, because it's probably still drying where we covered up that little bit of red bleed through problem. Let's get a little bit there and touch up that crotch piece at last. I hope it's dry. Looks like it's dry. Alright. See if there's any spots that we think need to darken up. Right here. Alright, let's figure out what we're going to do about his sword blade, and then we have to do some stuff with our base there. So I had an idea what I'd do with that sword blade, but now I kind of changed my mind because I have this plasmatic bolt. It's like a teal. But I am not sure how that's going to look. Stay there. You're going to really want to pull this out and thin it down before you try something like this, because this could make or break a mini quick. Alright, it's a little obnoxious, but I would not say overly so. All right. We're going to give that a minute, and then we're going to come back and hit that with a gray, or like a really shiny silver. I think the color is actually called shining silver. Yeah, shining silver. All right, so let's grab that other brush that we're using, this crappy brush, and let's do something to this base. Let's grab a piece of cardboard. Wipe that off. Let's come in here and hit some of this stuff and change the tone of the ground. Did I just hit that camera again? I sure did. If you're wondering, my camera is not in reverse. I am left-handed. Just one of those. I'm going to do that a little bit more. We're going to lighten that up a little bit more here too. Oh. And we're going to get something for that rock. Now, if you have like a little brown or a little gray on your brush, and you're doing any kind of stone or like earthy stuff, don't forget that you can have those mixed together, and you're going to find some natural tones that can occur in nature on stones and stuff. So don't fret about doing a little paint mixing here and there. Then I just want a little bit of that just gray. Lighten that up a little bit more. Alright, while we're waiting for that sword to dry, let's do one more thing. And I've been doing this, I've not been showing this in all the videos, I showed it in the first one. So it's good to have a crappy brush handy for this. Get your little dab of your clear glue. Some flock. When you get this glue on your brush, you want to not leave it thick. You want to do a thin layer just in the spots where you feel like you need grass. Now, this is brighter flock than I use on terrain because it's very vibrant and it gives a good contrast. So it looks like I made some effort, but I didn't have to go out of my way to do much with my base. And since that, when you hit it with the acetone, or I'm sorry, the clear coat has acetone in it that dries it out quickly, it almost gives it like a two-tone effect automatically. So now we can come back and finish up. Shining silver. Little dot. So I think that took us about 45 minutes. I'm going to let him dry. I'm going to clear coat him. I'm going to take him upstairs. I'm going to get some shots of him in play for a thumbnail. And yeah, I think we're okay. Hey, thank everybody for watching. If you like the minis, or if you want to support what we're doing here, in the description I will have a link to our Discord and to our DungeonSwag.com website. If you would like to get one of these minis in your hands for free, there is directions on how to do that on the website, or in the Discord. You can get one of these at no expense to you, so you can try them out and see how much you like them. Obviously, I like them a lot. Hopefully you will too. But this guy is just one of my favorite minis I've ever done. He really was cool, easy to paint, a lot of detail that I ignored, obviously. You could go way further with this if you wanted to. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing evening.